The nines are coming out for Kamala as both her and Biden's polls implode. We're going to get a peek into the shade wars going on behind the scenes in the White House. We're also going to see why the Biden regime is throwing Kackles under the bus. And stick with me to the very end of this video when we'll find out why a number of other Democrats are doing their part to take Kamala out as well. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. Before we begin, as you know, I recently retired from academia to go full-time here at Turley Talks, fighting for freedom and bringing the good news of patriotic conservatism to people all over the world. But I need your support to help me keep my business going in the midst of constant threats from cancel culture. So my team and I have created an amazing merch store with the best designs in the world, like our latest Let's Go Brandon t-shirts. We got some of the best Patriot gear where you can pick out something that spreads hope and supports my channel here at the same time. So make sure to click on the link below. Get your Patriot merch today. These designs are punchy and fun, but they're not going to stick around for long. So click on that link in the description below to both support me and spread Patriot hope, and I cannot thank you enough for it. All right, gang, let's dive right in here with Biden's poll numbers literally imploding into the abyss. It does appear that there's a major civil war going on behind the scenes in the White House, and this is being recognized above all by the left-wing media. It's true. Over the weekend, the left-wing media was all abuzz over reports from within both Brandon's team and Kamala's team that he was basically throwing Kamala under the bus. CNN, of all places, ran a bombshell report describing what they called the utter dysfunction within Kamala's team. The report, entitled Exasperation Dysfunction Inside Kamala Harris's Frustrating Start as Vice President. And it tries to get to the bottom of Kamala's shockingly low approval ratings, which last week we learned was a humiliating 28%. I mean, don't get much lower than that. In fact, the Babylon Bee had a great headline. Good news for Dems. Biden and Harris now polling at 66% approval if you combine their numbers. Hilarious. I love it. And so the CNN article highlights repeated and unending conflicts and chaos between Harris, her staff, and bumbling Biden, who's more and more being affectionately referred to by others as Brandon. Pretty cool, huh? So, for example, the CNN report cited Harris's disastrous performance at the southern border as a result of Biden, or Brandon, intentionally throwing her under the bus to cover his own ass, so she gets blamed rather than him. CNN claims Brandon gave to her this assignment at the border as a reprimand for her basic incompetence over the immigration crisis. So, in other words, they're basically saying, look, if you're going to be so incompetent when it comes to immigration, then I guess we'll put you, Kackles, in charge so that everyone can see just how incompetent you really are and deflect any criticism coming our way. Another major issue involved the discrepancy between the way the Brandon team defended Buttigieg's paternity leave, which was one of the most embarrassing failures of any administration in recent memory. The entire nation is going through this ridiculous supply chain crisis, and the Secretary of Transportation, who oversees the supply chain, is on vacation. He's freaking on vacation for 2 months! But the Brandon regime doubled down. They were totally cool with it. They defended him to the hilt. And yet, Harris's aides have noticed that there's been no comparable defense for cackling Kamala. One of Kamala's aides put it this way, I kid you not, quote, "It's hard to miss the specific energy that the White House brings to defend a white man, knowing that Kamala Harris has spent almost a year taking a lot of the hits that the West Wing didn't want to take themselves." Ooh, now things got so out of hand over the weekend that Jen Circleback Psaki had to take to Twitter in her pathetic attempt at damage control, reaffirming Brandon's full support for Kamala Harris. I mean, things got so bad in the mainstream media echo chamber that Circleback Psaki had to take to Twitter and confirm everything is cool between Biden and Kackles, which obviously means, given the fact that Psaki lies for a living, she's a paid liar, that obviously means that things are falling apart between the two. It's absolutely hilarious. Needless to say, few doubt the veracity of these reports. Kamala Harris is completely incompetent, as is Brandon. They're increasingly at odds with one another. But we gotta ask the question, why is Kamala getting so much negative press like this? Why is her dirty laundry coming out so much of late and not Brandon's? Well, a number of pundits like Dick Morris, Jack Posobiec, they've long been reporting on the shade war going on between Kamala and Brandon, and they're recognizing all of these negative reports against Kackles is a defense mechanism for Biden. Dick Morris in particular has argued that all of this negative press that we're seeing surrounding Harris over the last several months, she's not fit to be president, her staff hates her, she's in disarray. All of these stories are being reported by reporters that are all pro-Biden. They've been around in the Washington swamp for as long as Biden has. They're buddies and the like. And so Morris thinks Biden's former circle is leaking negative stories about Kamala to pro-Biden reporters in order to pull a Spiro Agnew, okay? Agnew is Richard Nixon's vice president. And Nixon believed that as long as he made Agnew look unprepared for office, as long as he made Agnew look as if he simply wasn't fit or ready to be president, then Nixon was safe from impeachment. And Biden aides appear to be doing the very same thing here. All of these negative leaks about Kamala coming out of the White House, they're all admissions that Biden's people are getting very, very nervous that Kamala is power hungry. She's ready to invoke the 25th Amendment to get rid of Sleepy Joe. And Biden's people are trying to preempt that by making Kamala look weak and unprepared and frankly unfit for office. But the Achilles heel to the strategy seems to be that they're creating a scenario where the more unpopular Joe gets, the more unpopular Kamala becomes. The more Sleepy Joe falls in the polls, the more Kamala implodes as well. And this seems to be emboldening possible Democrat challengers in 2024. Look at this headline from Politico. Biden's successor chatter grows and Harris isn't scaring anyone off. This is an amazing admission on the part of Politico, which has become, just another ridiculous leftist hack site. But they're basically arguing here that leftists like Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker and Amy Klobuchar, they're all making some interesting moves when it comes to 2024. Booker's been involved in New Hampshire politics of late, for example, boosting the candidacy for a Democratic mayor out there. Warren has been endorsing campaigning for influential leftists around the country. These are considered often precursors to garnering the support needed to launch their own campaigns. And as more and more Democrats recognize that the vast majority of the country does not want to see another Brandon term, right? You know that, right? According to the latest USA Today poll, 64% of American voters don't want Biden to run for another term. I mean, that includes 28% of Democrats. 2/3 of the American electorate do not want to see Brandon for another term. And so the chatter among Democrats is who's going to replace him in 2024. And one name that does not come up is Kackles, even though she's a vice president. Kackles is even more unpopular than Biden. And so these potential Democratic nominees are doing everything they can do to knock her out of contention by exacerbating her low poll numbers. So Kackles is getting hit from both sides. She's getting hit from the Brandon wing in his attempt to ensure that no one tries to get rid of him. And she's getting hit from the wing of her other potential Democratic presidential contenders as her poll numbers continue to implode. Either way, the knives have come out for Kamala. It's time for patriots to sit back, butter the popcorn, and watch the drama unfold. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on how the nation of Poland is valiantly defending their borders against a massive migrant invasion. You are not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.